Welcome to Daily 5 for Wednesday, February 19th, 2025. I promise this 5 starts off from a place of politics, but is in fact not political. I was listening to a discussion and debate among some political talking heads about effective messaging in the United States at the moment, because I'm not sure if people who don't live here are aware, but there's some things happening inside the United States at the moment. And anyway, one of the things that was brought up was the difficulty in getting messaging out to different people within the country because, unlike, say, 50 years ago, there aren't centralized sources of broadcast information. It used to be that there were only a few places that a person could go to get their information, good or bad. TV, newspaper, coffee shop, that type of thing. Whereas now, there are so many platforms outside of the fact that anybody can create a website for free and put whatever they want on it, that there is such a flood of different places that are at least telling you that they are sources of information, again, whether they are good or not, that it becomes difficult for anyone who is trying to communicate with the public at large to be able to do it effectively, because many of these platforms do not mimic each other's formatting. So something that is appropriate for a blog is not going to work for a TikTok video, nor will it work for YouTube, or maybe it would only work for a YouTube short, or maybe you're trying to put it onto something else. I mean, there's just so many options, which on the one hand makes it great for people to be able to create content in whatever way they want to. That part is fantastic. But as far as trying to, even within our show, I had to basically stop at a certain point and say, okay, I'm only going to publish to these 3 or 4 places, and that's it. I even tried TikTok before all the rest of this stuff blew up. And of course, as I've said many times, that basically shut me out and did me a favor, because honestly, it was one more outlet I did not need to get involved in. But then I think about people who are actually in the business of trying to market things and communicate things. And there is a point where I think we are done a disservice by the nearly infinite ways that we can interact with people. As I said, for content creators, it's great. If you are trying to make music or create videos or do artwork or sell photography or writing or whatever, it's great to have a million different ways to shoot all that stuff out to the universe. But if you are trying to actually have a consistent message and have it reach as many people as possible, I don't know if even having a couple of people on a full-time staff will allow you to do that truly effectively, as we've seen, again, the multiplying of different platforms, and not only the multiplication of the platforms themselves, but the rapid pace in which the popularity of the different platforms bounces all over the place. I mean, there is virtually nothing outside of a couple of the staples like YouTube, Facebook, those type of things, and even those will eventually age out. But there really, at this point, is nothing that is consistently reliable, because, again, you could have somebody start up an app in 5 minutes and it, for whatever reason, whatever combination of factors, make it immensely popular and could actually lead people to just jump off of a platform that, we've seen high-profile creators and groups of people who follow them going back and forth from Twitch to YouTube and then back to Twitch again. I think there's a video service called Kick that was popular for 5 seconds and everybody gave up on that. Of course, Clubhouse during the pandemic. And, sometimes you can point to something like, oh, okay, COVID caused Clubhouse to explode. We can figure out what happened there. But there are often, just as often, if not more often, really no rhyme or reason to why people go where they go. There are fads that just spontaneously catch fire for whatever reason. And so, I don't know what the future of mass marketing and messaging even looks like. And I'm not saying that that's something that we should really encourage. I think there is a benefit to having more than one source. I'm not saying we should go back to the days where everybody gets their source of truth from one place. I don't think that's good. But I think it's equally as bad if you go to try to find out something and get some kind of reliable information, and now you have to spend 6 hours across 40 different outlets and then have to run down the background of each of those outlets and hope that one that you think is reliable 6 months from now isn't acquired by a company that you don't trust that then destroys that platform. I don't know that that's great either. So I'm not saying I have a solution. It's just interesting because I started thinking about that when there was this discussion about how to message people in a political sphere, but really, you can apply this to everything. So I don't know what the future of communication looks like, but my bet is it's going to get a whole lot messier before we actually figure it out. So just had that thought and figured I'd share it with everybody and see what you think. Later.